Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build Live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing? I hope you are well. You join us here with a new project in front of us, and that is of course the 3D printed Captain Baxter from the Bluebell Railway. And what a lovely little 3D printed loco she is. She's just as good in the flesh. I went in the cab not long ago and it was very nice. I believe it's still open for you to go in down at the Bluebell Railway, so go there and go in the cab of this thing in the shed. Because you can. And good evening, WJS Productions. How are you, Will? I hope you are well. Yeah, so, Baxter, in theory, quite a simple little kit. And will make quite a nice little shunter on South Park Quarry. And good evening, Bob. How are you? I hope you are well. And it is rather good, actually, that we have made South Park Quarry DC capable when Linny came down, because all my DCC chips are currently assigned to customer projects. I don't have any spare for myself, so this will be remaining analog until I get some more. I am very well, thank you, Bob. I hope you are too. I have been enjoying your updates on Arlie. It's such a beautiful layout, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how well it all comes out when you're done with it, honestly. And good evening, Alexander. How are you? I hope you are well. Supposed to be fancy with terrors or install my two Hornby early 2000 runs at the same time. Bought a little Hornby Southern 2662 for the same price. Great runner. Fantastic. Yes, I do like the new Hornby ones. They are, in my opinion, the better of the currently available terriers. That is just my opinion, obviously. And good evening, Johnny. How are you? I hope you are well. Yay, 3D Print Low's got my train times earlier this week, and such a lovely print. Yeah, unfortunately, this being a slightly older Shapeways print isn't quite to the same quality as Train Times can now manage on their printer. But it is still very nice, and I mean, I've seen much worse things than this come out of Shapeways. So, yeah. It's not quite as detailed, it's got a few rough bits, and we're going to have to bend up some wire, which the printer at Train Times can print all that quite happily. But, you know, technology moves on and such forth. It's a lot coarser than what you could get now, but it's still a great model. I want a few terriers, Fenchurch, Stepney and Box Hill and Leadenhall and Brighton Works. Excellent, Lewis. I approve of getting lots of terriers. Do it. Doing good, excellent. I'm alright, thank you. Lovely weather recently. Such a British thing to say, I know. It has been lovely though, yes, you're right. And it is a very British thing to say. Right, ready for food too? Let's go. Fantastic, Christopher. And yes, I approve of having food and hydration at the ready. After all, both are very important. Hydration more so, obviously. So yeah, the loco is a kit of 3D printed parts. We've got a probably brass whistle that I stole off a loco, some sprung buffers, and a Dapol L&Y pug chassis that came from a pug that unfortunately split itself into more pieces than I would have liked when I was taking it apart, so the footplate's in 2 bits now. Indeed, although I still use brass wire for made to help despite the printed plumbing, much stronger and can be removed when applying the line-in transfers. Yes, there's definitely still places where using separately fitted wire is still the best idea, regardless of what you can theoretically do. It's just nice to know things are possible, eh? Hydration is important for roomies and steam locos. Hydration is indeed also important for steam locos. And yes, on the other hand, I take time and resources limited and have to be careful not to invest too much of my own money as it's not mine. Its future undetermined but needs saving. Yes. Yes indeed. But yeah, it really is fantastic what you are doing. And you know, as someone who's never been to Arley but has obviously seen pictures and video of it on the internet and on TV, it looks absolutely fantastic. I do hope to make it there for real one day, but that day won't be today because we're sat here till the end of it. So yeah, I say I've had that pug chassis for a long time with its pug, with the intention once upon a time to restore it as a pug and put it into LMY livery. But I've got another one to do that with now, and that doesn't have a motor in the cab, so I have never been to the SVR. The thing about me is I've never been to many railway places. Shop road trip. Can I get my new car first before we do road trips? I've never been to either. But in this case, the Severn Valley. So yeah, there's lots of things here attached to a sprue. That really don't want to be. As you can tell from how easily they took themselves off there. Been to Severn Valley, but not the Spa Valley. Railroad. We've been heaving today. There's been our spring gala. Oh yes, yes. I had that mentioned to me elsewhere. It would be lovely to make it along for a gala, but it'd also be really nice to make it along for a normal day that isn't absolutely heaving. Just a little bit left on there. I will take off with the knife. Looking at the pug chassis, I'm wondering if there's any suitable cordless motors to swap the original to improve running. Would definitely a flywheel. I would expect so. This one is actually quite a good running one. Part of the reason why it was chosen for this project. There's actually the two more at the shop, and I did think, I thought, you know, maybe I'll buy one of those and have that as the chassis donor, but this one is actually a really good runner, so yeah, seemed a no-brainer to stick with it. Shows no terror. Good evening, Matt. How are you? I hope you are well. All are good, but always recommend the Autumn Gala due to the night running. I mean, night running is good. I've got some fantastic shots from the Bluebell of the H-Class running at night in the rain. Taken on very good cameras. Car. It's fantastic. Normal day running is much more pleasurable to have the fix of both steam and scenery. Yeah, that's what I thought, Bob. That is what I thought. I always like to turn up to railways on a normal day when there aren't a million people around and you can take in everything. Doesn't have a park, has a new motor and flywheel in the same space as the original motor. Runs well, if a bit loud. Well, I mean, this is a bit loud, but only when you turn it up full, which I won't be doing often. Because it's going to be a shunter. Kind of like the smoke box door. Almost fits. There we go. Get it at just the right angle. And it fits. Well, the chance for those in steam at night is so rare, plus will stop you doing both night and day. True. Don't have to queue for hydration stops either. No, that's always a plus when you don't have to queue for hydration stops. Getting the extra bits of sprue off there. Make sure it all, yeah. Needs a bit more taking off, but it fits. The printer's obviously got a bit brittle with age because it lost a bit around the edge of the bottom there. Never mind, it's not something that can't be repaired. That's where I put it. Rocket shunt. I mean, it is almost pocket rocket speeds when this thing runs at full, but yeah, when it's running slowly, although obviously it is a big motor that takes up space and probably should be replaced. When it's running slowly, this chassis is near silent, so. Yeah, look, filler caps fit first time as well. Can't complain when it's going this well. Agreed, I'm toying with either next weekend in case any of the gala visitors are still there, or the double peaks at the diesel gala. Why not both? That's my answer. Say no to Smokey Joe. Poor Joe. I know my one isn't Smokey Joe, so I won't bring it on for giggles. But poor Joe. Are you planning on putting proper slide bars, crossheads, whatever they're called on it? Maybe is the answer. I mean, I could always put the covers back on it over the slide bars because it came with those, this one, but I'm not a fan of them. So that is going to need a hole drilling down through the middle and then opening out a bit. Well, that went through quite quickly. As I say, the plastic on this is clearly very brittle. It's Matt Wickham's Baxter or someone else's? It is Matt's one, yes. I'm not aware of there being any others, is there? That was good English, Gary. Well done. They're not looking like a low pub already. And I haven't even put buffers and a cab roof on it yet. fact, look, let's take this motor off and we can put it on some wheels as well. Let's heat the soldering iron up. That doesn't help with what I was looking for, but never mind. Let's carefully remove these bits here. Pop those wires off and turn the soldering iron back off for now. So this is the good thing about 3D printed locos, is how quickly you can make them go together to look like something loco-y. I'm sure that washer wasn't important. Since the nature is ultrafine 3D print is brittle, I think resin printers may make regular 3D printers obsolete. They may be wrong. I ain't an expert. So yeah, this is a lot more brittle than anything that comes off my printer or the printer we've now got at work. But that's not to say there isn't some brittleness to those prints as well at times. There we go, look, it's a loco, just like that. Good that, isn't it? I'm guessing all this support material in here needs removing. Of course, it doesn't actually say, it just says clean up remaining sprue. Prints from Trend printer, I can confirm a good amount of flex. With the exception of very, very fine parts, managed to snap off the brake handle of my tender, but easily replaced. Well, I am glad you are enjoying the quality of the prints. Haven't broken anything else yet, touch wood. Excellent. Resin will always snap before plastic, just the nature of the beast. Well, yes. This is what was at the time called Fine Ultra Detail, or FUD, from Shapeways. I don't know what they call it now, it's not that anymore. Shot printer is a Photon Ultra, yes. Yes, the shot printer is a Photon Ultra. using DLP technology as opposed to LCDs that people are used to. It's very similar looking to an LCD printer, but the way it works is quite different. This is obviously not the correct way to use a knife blade, and do not copy me. Do as I say, not as I do. However, it can be easy to fix the brake. I find the brake tends to be cleaner. Yes, all my broken 3D prints have always been quite clean brakes, which is sort of a blessing. There we go, cab roof now and all. And the motor sits down into it quite happily. Obviously, it's far from the ideal solution for a motor, but given what we're working with and the fact it's a nice, simple, ready to run chassis job, does what it needs to do. When you start tinkering with these things too much, of course, you start to exclude the less experienced modeler, which is never a fun thing to do. Let's say that can go on its chassis now. The motor is in place. And it's looking like a loco. Just like that. I found that FUD stuff to be awful on the brake van I got, so easily broken. So it is quite brittle. I've worked with worse though. Hope they fixed their sparkle problem with FUD. I found that old prints, even after thorough cleaning, priming, painting, seemed to exude a fine glitter through the paint after a few years. Yes, I have experienced that, and hopefully it doesn't do it so much with this, but you never know. That is what's the project was. FUD was too brittle, and anything below FUD looked poor quality. Yeah, exactly. Hydration is important, everyone. And good evening, Paderborn. How are you? I hope you are well. You join us 20 minutes in with something looking very loco shaped. Looks even more loco shaped with a pair of buffers stuck on the front. You're able to prime in here now. Technically, yes. Am I set up to do so? No. Plus, we've got to actually build it properly first. Couple of bits to clean up on there, which I really don't want to do with how brittle this material is, but there we go. And good evening, Killian. How are you? I hope you are well. There we go, that wasn't too bad, I suppose. This is very slightly too big. I wonder if I've got a no is the answer to that slightly smaller question. Unless, no, that one looks the same size. So we're going to have to go with the slightly oversized one. Or, to see how well we can cut them down, let's get the extra bits off. And see, because I don't really want to make oversized holes if I can avoid it. Very well, thank you, Gary. How's Bill going thus far? Other than Shapeways materials being a bit rubbish and stuff, all right. Shapeways materials be Shapeways materials. And given that it's a bit of an old kit as well, it's a bit lower on detail than what you could get now, but saying that corner of the footplate just completely goes through. Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. How are you? I hope you are well. So we'll have a bit of reconstruction to do on that corner. And that one's gone as well. But the back now fits in place. Tut. Do a nice thing for someone, nothing but complaints. Yes, yes indeed. For context, this kit was donated to me by Alex some time back and is very much appreciated. See, obviously the motor is big and in the way and everything, but even though it's quite an open cab, by the time you've got a crew in there, it's not going to be too bad. I still need to finish my Baxter. Do it. No, and there goes up 3 of the 4 supports that hold it in place. All because for some reason the screw decided to go in. So after all that, we're going to be doing it with none of those supports anyway. Never mind, eh? Right, we're nearly done with drilling holes. I'm going to get these filler caps out as well because they'll need some glue. So we just need to open the holes for the buffers out very, very slightly. going to be a loco for the AK and ALR. But as that never happened, I thought someone else made better use of it. Now that I feel like I've saddled you with a dud. I don't feel like you've saddled me with a dud. I feel like it's going to be a great loco. There we go. They can sit in there properly now. I'd thought of getting an XLSWR driving unit coach from Shapeways, but for the price, I'd rather give the Rocks Mouldings brass kit a try. Shane's no RTR ones ready available. If it's the one on Shapeways I'm thinking of, you'd definitely be better off giving the Roxy Mouldings brass kit a try. Honestly. Roxy kits are fantastic. If you need tips on them, they are very similar to the Branch Lines kits, and I have built a Branch Lines coach, I want to say last year, because I was still in here when I did it. So go and watch that, that'll give you all the sort of tips you need. Scary, he'll make it into a silk purse. I'll do my best. I want to be able to play with this on South Park Quarry. I'm quite excited for that. Lovely little shunter for it. I'm rather worried about opening up the holes for the couplings though. Get a smaller one in there to poke that bit out. Because these currently only have little square holes, and this one actually has the fixing point for the motor mount tucked in behind it. I wonder how far down that goes, because that might need to be removed. I'll have a look. No problem. So that is why I do this, is to show people it's not that hard and anyone can do it. So that's okay. I should be able to remove that. He says, scared he's going to break the whole model doing so. There we go, it was just brittle where I wanted it to be brittle and only flew off the bit I wanted to come off. And now that is fine, that does not appear to stick through. No, that does not go through at all, so that is absolutely fine. It's still not going to give us a lot of room for fitting the coupling, but it means we can get the coupling in there, get it bent over a bit. Because you know, once the chassis goes on, there's a screw that comes down in this hole. So we can get the coupling through, get it bent round and get some araldite in there to hold it in place. Now that that bit's gone. Very nice of it. It was very, very nice of it. I was quite impressed. So I presume it's the Lanky Pug chassis. It is indeed the Lanky Pug chassis with its big sticky up motor. The donor Lanky Pug was one that I got as part of a collection that had been repainted. I had begun to strip it down years ago. With the intention of putting it into L&Y livery. But given I've got my motorised Airfix one now, I didn't see the need. So yeah, it had been repainted interestingly. See, I got most of that side stripped down. But I'm assuming probably because of the acetone I stripped the paint off with, lost a lot of integrity in the plastic, and when I was dismantling it for this project, the footplate snapped. It's not that tall. No, not at all. It only takes up the entirety of the cab up to roof height. Not that tall at all. When this goes on here, it gives us essentially no room at the front as well for a coupling. I think that will be a poke through, fold over, and arrow job as well. And the older LYR livery, I mean, it definitely wasn't. It was green with white lining. Hydration is important. So now we need some 3-link couplings so that we can use the hooks to make sure we get the holes big enough. Conveniently, I have some I made earlier. No, I just need to put everything else away. See, some I made earlier, ready to go. So the holes for those need nearly doubling in height. I wonder if I can use the fragility of this plastic to my advantage and use the drill like a side cutter. Not because that's how I want to do this, but because the fragility will break the buffer beam if I try and do it any other way. Here are some you made earlier. Intruder with salt minus the primary catastrophic will slip. So it appears to be working. It's not as accurate as I'd like it to be because apparently I slipped off to one side. But if the end result is I'm able to get a coupling hook in, I'm not going to complain too much. That right there is a good sign. And that is a very good sign. Good evening, Alan. How are you? We are working on a nice 3D printed kit of Captain Baxter from the Bluebell. As a kit, it has its issues, mainly due to it being an older kit, older designed kit and a Shapeways print. For example, if I do anything but this as to cut through the buffer beams, I'm quite sure I will snap them. and then my coupling mounting will not go so well. We've already lost a few bits to it being rather brittle. Getting there, but not quite. We'll probably have a play with some wagon kits as well whilst we're here. There we go. Coupling can now go on the front. As I say though, it'll no, I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah. So if anyone else knows what I was going to say, do let me know. I'm not really sure how I'm going to drill a hole for this whistle though. And the bot wants you to know that hydration is important. Drink up, everyone. I suppose really the answer is cut the whistle down a bit. Yeah, it could well be that that's what I was going to say, and the bot's taking a very good guess. So there we go. Now the whistle can go on. How's life down south? Warm. Very, very warm. Would be nice if it was less warm. I wonder if that's doable with the roof on. I'm going to say it's probably not. No. Which makes things interesting for priming. Because I would have wanted to put the whole thing together before priming if I could, but obviously that's not going to be possible. No, more warm. No, we don't need more warm. Had my fill of warm. I can put the heater on at the shop for you on Tuesday, though. I don't mind. There we go. They didn't want to poke all the way up through to start with for some reason. Now we put that in, we put those on. We put the roof on. We'll put the whistle in before the roof since it fell out. Whistle, roof. She's being pushed up by the wires. Back of cab. Chimney, dome. Smoke box door. Filler cap. It's a loco. It's got some wiry bits to do still, but right now, it's a loco. Can even have some nice sprung buffers. There we go. Ready to shunt on South Park Quarry already. I'm genuinely quite happy with how that looks. Fantastic addition to the fleet, I think. As I actually wanted to see. Go, come out before you fall out and I lose you. So yeah, so that gives us a little bit of room just to fold the coupling over and attach and apply some araldite to hold it in place. Just like we will have at the back. So yeah, now we need some brass wire. Captain Baxter fresh out of Oak Hill works in a transparent livery. Yeah, it's I want to say Cambrian livery, invisible green. It could be another railway that had an invisible green livery, but that's what it is. Obviously. This is the thicker of the two, which is what we want for the cab supports. So they go in here, so we'll check those, and they go up in there. Now the trick to this is really going to be to get it to bend nicely, because it's meant to be quite a curvy shape. I think there's pictures of the prototype. Actually, it's not that curvy. It's curvy at the bottom. There's this one here. So maybe we'll be alright not curving it at all. And just having it sit like so. I don't think that looks terrible. Yeah, plenty of room. Motor each side. And there we go, that gives us our cab supports. Just like that. Ideally, I want a way of marking top and bottom on them whilst they're out of the loco. I'm just going to put them this way round and hope they stay this way round. Out at Oak Hill. Yeah, the mean streets of Oak Hill, they're not as bad as Compton, if I'm honest. Hydration is important and all that. And with that, I'm going to refill the hydration vessel. Will it get a cow catcher and flags? No, no it will not. Definitely not. Let's take this front page off. Then I can actually see the close-up shots of what I'm modelling here. SWA shunters with attitude. Oh, yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is. So now we're going to make some loopy bits that I think want to be convenient. No, that is too big. Darn. I thought one of my screwdrivers was the right size for that. Maybe it's the little flathead. Yeah. But that doesn't go as, that's not as round as I would like. By which I mean, not round in the slightest. Never mind. No, I already checked that, didn't I? About the much smaller one? Maybe. No, it still doesn't want to bend round. Trying to bend into a pointy shape now. And that is about the right width if it were rounded. Because that's where this one wants to sit. Doesn't look terrible. I might leave it as it is. I've certainly seen worse. And then we want right angles. Of just that size, almost like I planned it. I assure you, I didn't. And then we want this bit that if I cut down a bit more, should be about the right size for our front piece. And then of course we've got to do all this again for the other side. Bend it all the way around, drill bit several times, cut off one half of the loop. I mean, not a terrible idea. I think I'm actually going to stick with how it is, because honestly, up close, it doesn't look terrible. I'm now going to be really, really silly. Like, unbelievably silly. But I can't see a way I'm going to get this accurate enough without doing it this way. Actually going to put it this way around, because the leg on this side is slightly taller and also has a big, slightly deeper hole it can go into. If only I could, like, see that hole. There it is. What is this little wire assembly creating? An injector? Good question. It's a thing. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough with loco parts to actually know. All I know is it's a bit of wire and it sits on the front of Baxter. Just looking at some Google images of Captain Baxter, I believe it is a thingamajig. It may well be a thingamajig, you could be right there. There is certainly a possibility that it's a thingamajig. But it goes about there, and it looks like that, and we don't melt Baxter in the process. See, I can do things. Killing is correct. The doodads normally sit further forward. Ah, fair enough. It's a thing with a purpose. Good answer, Will. Could also be a doodad. It might be the driver's side injector. What about the... But now that I've got this one of that thing done, hydration is still important. You are correct. There is an identical assembly on the left-hand side. I'm looking forward to fitting that. But look, now I can fit that, and it's starting to look like we know what we're doing with it. With all these little detail-y things. So Alex, I ask you, are you glad you're not the one building this? I'm going to wipe all the flux that I can off there. Some of it's gone down in the holes and will stay there forever. Just a tad. Thought you might be. My eyes still feel like they need to recover. I've got a similar looking shape out of this one. For the other side. Albeit a bit wider looking. I want to put this one back so I can compare. They look about the right size. Yeah, that looks about the same size. Of course, now, when trying to line it up, there's 4 holes to line up, not just the 2. The 2 was hard enough. My eyes hurt already. That's too short, I'm sure of it. Yeah, but not by much. But it might be okay for the other side. And by the other side, I mean the downwards bit. I do know these words. What I don't know how to do is how to hold them, obviously. Yes, the downwards bits. Yeah, exactly. Very important, the downwards bits. Alright, it was almost exactly where I wanted it there. Before I knocked it back out. I'm going to get some flux on it and hope I can get it actually where I want it. Just like that. And then of course I pull it everywhere as I solder it. That's definitely where I wanted it to be. Nothing wrong with how that's soldered on at all. Ugh. My eyes really aren't liking this. Never mind, eyes, you get to stick with it now. It's my hands that do most of the work anyway. Don't my eyes realise they've got the easy job, they're just the supervisor. Big blob of solder on the end there, that's probably why it's not liking that. I'll never get it in again, will I? That was it. That was its only time it's ever going to go in. I'm going to cut a new one. That one's not behaving. This one has a bigger downward bit. And looks to be about the right size. I'm glad you all come here to watch me struggle. If you came here for anything else, you'd be sorely disappointed. Yep, that's what I wanted. Life of the modeler is eternal struggle. That's very true. Very profound words there, Alex. So I pulled that out quickly there because once I realised they had stuck to it, I don't want them there long enough to melt any of the plastic on the body. Looks about right. And about right is right enough for me. You all know the first rule of my modelling and accuracy. If a blind man on a galloping horse from 3 miles away couldn't tell it's wrong, then it's right. Oh. At the end of the day, would we trade this hobby for something easier? No, we would not. Well, I certainly wouldn't. And good evening, Red. How are you? you join me with a lovely little Captain Baxter that I'm very much enjoying and not in the slightest bit stressed with. But there we go. Pipe work. Whatever it does. Oh, fine, thanks for yourself. I am very well, thank you. Now that that's done, hydration is important, everyone. Yep, so that is not going to work on this Batman Pannier. Despite all jokes, I need the round window cab for 7714. Big drill bit. That's what you need, Christopher, a drill bit. Close enough only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And railway modelling. Definitely looks like injectors to me. Well, I'm glad someone has a clue. Because I certainly don't. In more things than one. And the last bit of pipe work we need that's going to be more than enough. I'm probably going to need to replace it because it's more than enough. Oh yeah, look at that, it's way too long. I'll put a bend about there. It's a little round bit by the whistle. Otherwise, in reality, is part of the whistle. The large windows it has are larger than the round windies, though. Plastic hard and a drill bit. Evening, Gary, and the coast Tim Baxter. Good evening, Andy. How are you? I hope you are well. It's still too much wire. You know you're working with small pieces when you need pliers to hold it so you can get at it with the pliers. I suppose actually I could use proper snips, couldn't I? Actually, wait, injectors are gravity fed with water. That can't be an injector. Okay, so we're back to it being a thingamabob. Like how after 3 years of streams, we're still seeing new things with different builds. Case in point, a lot of pipe work to make here. Yes! Well, this is the joys of railway modelling. It's never the same day twice, is it? It's always good to do something different. And I do like trying to find things that are different. As I say, the way technology has moved on, the printer at the shop could print all this pipe work and not have any issues. It's got a bit of sunburn with a nice spring weather. I mean, sunburn's not great, but spring weather being able to sunburn you, yay, I think. Now it's not quite long enough. Blooming typical that, isn't it? I think I'm going to go with a bit of that'll doism there. As long as the whistle can sit in front of it. Sort of. That'll do. Oh, ow, there goes my knee. Had a very nice day celebrating my dad's birthday. Excellent. Merry Birthmas, Red's dad. That'll do, Pug. That'll do. Exactly. I think that means it's time to start gluing bits together. I like the idea of gluing bits together. There's my glue. I had to think there because it's been being used today. Yeah, that's a good point. Need to find some plastic card anyway for work on. D3586. Did I read that right? I did read that right. Yay. I know a good shop that sells plastic art, Christopher. Well, it's not on the website. Yeah, it is. It should be on the website. Plastic card's on the website. Go look at the plastic card on the website. We've not got a huge amount in stock at the minute, but we do sell plastic art. And being I've already got a parcel to send out to you, mark it as for local collection, then you don't have to pay a postage charge on it, and I will parcel it up with your other parcel. See? Big brain here. Big brain's going to remember he's got a thing to do this with. And good evening, Lee. How are you? I hope you are well. You've just missed the bit where I was getting all quietly stressed with it. What thickness do folks recommend? Yes. For what you're doing, I recommend about whatever thickness the front of the panniers cab is. I imagine that's the hardest part done. I would expect so, Killian, yes. I'd be very surprised if anything was harder than that. Good, thanks. Early night for me. Dreaded drive to Portsmouth in the morning. Well, hey, finally off on that holiday. I do hope you have a good time and make lots of use of your Isle of Wight membership. I know I would. fantastic railway that it is. Oh, there's my knife. There's my knife. Oh, this is going well, isn't it? Off Steam Railway Wednesday and Saturday. Excellent. I hope you enjoy. Not now, Bot. We'll get to that in a second. Let me get the whistle attached at least. Remember how this was standing up on its own earlier? And how I couldn't get it out? Blooming thing. Like that. I'm sure to try the new 484s on Thursday. Aha, fantastic. So that'll be interesting to ride on them when I next go over there, because I rather liked the older stock. There we go. Whistle on. And then we want the cab supports, which I am rather worried are going to interfere with the cab roof. But we'll cross that when we come to it. And there is our nice wired up front bits. So now we can actually listen to the bot, because it's right. Hydration is important. And it's also that time of the evening where I ask what you've all been up to and what you are up to. Please do tell. I always love hearing about what you are doing whilst I'm streaming. I'm trying to dismantle this pannier. Well, this is what you get for wanting 57XXs. Still trying to work out how to do thatch in 00 on a budget. Very, very, very small dried grass. Currently fly shunting with Betsy at the smelter. Linny sent me the save to practice with. Excellent. Excellent. Isn't Betsy just a fantastic little engine, Alex? Slowly and carefully painting up the A12. Still no green paint. though, so all the other coloured bits are getting done first. Fair enough. I'm looking forward to seeing the green on it. I've painted up some Model U platform staff for the station. Excellent. I do hope they are the wonderful quality that I expect from Model U. All GWR locos are 57XXs. Exactly, Sophia. Been working on my layout today, refreshing scenery in prep to take to the SVR in 2 weeks. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. Here's what the Severn Valley has, Law. Yeah. You blame the Severn Valley. I'll keep blaming you. Plumber's Hemp Works too, or old paintbrushes. Those are good ideas, Killian. Are you getting that, Red? Currently have 2 layouts on the go, as you know, Gary. Indeed I do. I rather like both of them. Currently working on revamping a Ren R1. Oh, excellent. Do tell. What are you doing to it? This one is an 8750 moment. No, 57XS. She is. I actually started shunting with Crowborough, which was fun as well. Crowborough is a beautiful engine. A lot more useless, but still fun. And I think at the moment the best looking engine in the game. What about the GWR Terriers? Well, they were Terriers. No, they weren't GWR engines, they were LBSC Terriers in GWR liveries. Painting locos grey, adding white numbers. Need some red paint for the buffer beams on the sea. Well, if only you worked in a model shop, eh? Send you a link on Discord, Red, if that suits you. There you go, that's a good idea. Red, Killian will help you out with your issues of thatch. I was on a video call with my friends and now I'm currently having a bath and then I'll be doing the last bit of shunting for the night. Excellent! What will you be shunting with, Lewis? Do tell. Got it off right now to measure. Measure. You can do it, Christopher. Crowborough will be much more useful with some of the planned maps with long flat sections to haul passengers at speed. Yes, Crowborough will be very useful for that. And I look forward to it. You're the long handrail knobs. I don't really want long handrail knobs. You're the short ones. How can you do this to me, Baxter? There's more bits to put wire in. They loop over the top of the buffers there and there. Given the R1, new safety valves, new BR crests, coal, and eventually adding a shed code to the smoke box. Luckily, she runs well, so it's just cosmetics. Excellent. She look much better in Wainwright livery, though. Just saying. This stuff's probably too thick for my handrails, and I can't immediately see where my handrail wire is. That's no fun. Should have thought about that sooner and looked for it, shouldn't I? Flagpoles. Yeah. There we go, look. Flagpoles. Now, these are literally handles that go over the top and down. SR livery, no, SR livery isn't better than Wainwright. Don't be silly. Feel the front of the cab windows of the R1 to make. Did you feel the front of the cab of the R1 to make proper windows? That's always an important one to do to those. Makes them look so much better. Disagree. See, of all the SECR liveries, Wartime Grey was definitely one of them. Let's see if we can make those holes a little bit deeper without everything shattering. SECR Grey certainly an underused livery. Is there any difference apart from the colour between the black and white card? Nope, just the colour. One word, lining. It's fine. It's totally fine. You've seen the colour of Tor Valley? I have. I think it's a bit too bright personally, but I'm told it is the colour for the Jubilee, so it is what it is. I want to like it, but a deeper purple would have looked better, in my humble opinion. I actually prefer how it looks on the Hornby mock-ups of their model. There we go, that is how those bits go at the front. One on either side. Makes me want chocolate. No, it's too bright for that. Ran my mainline raw Scott with a goods train yesterday. Excellent, Lewis. Excellent. That's the right thing to run it with. Definitely. It's your layout and you run it how you want. It's an SVR. I couldn't possibly comment. Fair enough. Needs gorilla playing drums on the front. Well, I say, to me, it looks too bright. It looks a lot brighter than royal purple, but I haven't seen it up close. I think they might have messed up the paint somehow. Hopefully, we'll do it right in what it should be. Contrast the logo that looks pink in sunlight. Yeah. So I think Hornby's mock-up artwork looks much better. But it's not me, it needs to impress. It's causing a lot of chat, so it is working. True. Right, card ordered paints. Excellent. I will get that parcelled up to you on Tuesday. Got one on order, so I'm hoping my order doesn't get cancelled through Hornby's genius allocation systems. Yeah. Yeah. Go on, focus on the logo instead of my hand. There we go. Loops of wire on the front. Sort of. Burgundy would have been better on Tor Valley for the Platinum Jubilee. I mean, I'm not sure Burgundy would have been better than the official royal colour, because the official royal colour seems like the right option to me, Lewis. Not a problem, Christopher. May as well paint this soon to be 57XX black now then. Do it. That's the third time I've had to mute the microphone to not deafen you all with the world's loudest sneezes. Doesn't normally happen. Ultimately, people need to get over it. It's a temporary thing, historic event, or bring in visitors. Yeah. So I say, whilst I'm not a fan of the colour it's actually in, it's not me, it's got to impress. So as long as it does what it's meant to do, I'm happy. And they have indeed interfered with the fit of the roof, like I said they would. Change the official raw colour looks dreadful then. See, this is it. It looks, from the pictures I've seen of it, it looks too bright for royal purple. But again, it's not for me to judge. Thought that the royal colour was burgundy. The royal colour has been purple for hundreds of years. Literally hundreds of years. It's dairy milk wrapper purple. Official colour is claret. Purple is the official colour of the Jubilee. Well, I can see where it is now, so let's do that, and that should be good to not block the roof. There we go, that's better. It was stated that way in the SVR video on it. Thousands, its tradition dating back to ancient Rome. It is indeed an ancient Roman tradition. It's way too bright for all purple, but so is the purple chosen for the Jubilee. It is what it is. Exactly. 69, does anyone who's old enough to remember when they wallpapered 5212 on the Kent and Wyeth Valley? I'm old enough to have seen pictures, and I'm aware of it. Isn't Royal Train Coaches a burgundy colour? But that doesn't make that doesn't make it the official royal colour. That poor MS compound. They're a dark purple, Lewis. I thought they were as well, but I wasn't sure enough to answer. Purple is an extremely expensive colour to make years ago. This is also why very few flags have purple on. It is indeed. These are facts I know. So now I need to get this one cut down the same. This one does appear to have actually stuck in place though, so that's a bonus for the first one. Well, I say bonus. That's much easier. Royal Train Coach of the Blackberry Black, which has origins in railway, specifically LNWR rather than heraldry. Oh, really? Okay, no worries. My dad said it was Burgundy. He was also in the army and he was a Coldstream Guard. Oh, there you go. My light's dying on me again because there's a loose connection that I need to resolder. Don't worry, it's only the ones under my shelves that let me see my tools. I'll just switch them off for now. This one has a bit of a peak on it from that shot. And we'll just make sure this one doesn't. No, it seems fine to me. Now, there we go. Now the roof sits quite happily again. There we go. Much better. Burgundy is more red, my friend. My mum had a Peugeot 406. Burgundy is definitely a very red colour. Yes, it is in fact a shade of red. Tour Valley would look better in her original livery, in my opinion. And she'll get her old livery back. Don't worry, Lewis. It's only temporary. So, with those on, we can apply a bit more glue to things and stick some more features on. Will be again painted in it again. No point arguing about it really. Indeed, Alex. Thankfully, Tour Valley will be returned to normal colours soon after the celebration. Ah, soon after. Excellent. Definitely off to a good start with the kit. Thank you, Red. Now, another engine in a class numbering 13 preservation and back to Baxter. Yes. And after, of course, the wine made in the formerly independent country of Burgundy. Indeed it is, yes. Caps are dead centre on these, so I can't really put them the wrong way round. That's handy. But that's all dried out too much now. There's the smoke box door. Now, before I put the smoke box door on, I think I'm going to add some weight to it. Put Tall Valley in malachite green, tunnel armchairs. Complete with sunshine yellow horizontal stripes along the boiler, obviously. Re-streamline Tall Valley with some MDF. Now, in the instructions for this, it mentions the idea of using the weight that comes with the pug. But to do that, you have to chop rather a lot out of it to get it in the boiler. And do I look like I'm about to sit here and chop up a big chunk of metal like that? I think not. Liquid gravity. Not streamlined, air smooth, my dear. Good point, Winnie. Good point. No, cardboard with red paint to make it go faster. Oh, of course, Will. Of course. I wish everyone a peaceful night's sleep. Have a good week. Good night. All stay safe. Good night, Bob. Thank you for coming. Great to have you here. I look forward to seeing more updates on one or other of your layouts. But you see, there's actually quite a lot of room inside the smoke box here. Now, when using liquid gravity, I always stick it in with super glue. You do not put lots in at once. Little bits at a time. Add super glue. Then a little bit more. And that way, you don't end up with lots of loose bits. Didn't one of the old manufacturers, Ren, question mark, do a rebuild Bully Pacific in malachite? That does sound like a Ren thing to do. Because, yeah, the super glue will not penetrate far. Unfortunately. So over time, you'll hear it start to move around if you just put a load in and pour super glue on the top. A few bits too close to the front there. Now, I'm also not completely filling the smoke box with the liquid gravity because it does want a screw going up into it. Yeah, that's going to be fine to go up into there. There's definitely a few bits too close to the front there though, because they're round the inside of the fitting for the door, so we'll just cut those off. And the door still fits. Captain Baxter becomes a rattle. Yeah, she would become a rattle if I left it like that. You are correct. Well, the thing is, well, when you're building your kit locomotives, the correct amount of weight to put in them is more. There we go. She's really coming together now, isn't she? Wow, running through railway on RO, so ancestral, trying to take Grover up to the lumberyard while running ahead to check the road. This set makes me wish for the TS map. Oh, it's great fun. Have you not seen how much time I spend off the train when I'm running trains? Like, quite often, Alex, in the smelter, if I need to run all the way round the smelter to get onto the right track, I will often set the loco going and then go and set all the points. Because it's quicker that way. Now, this motor can pop in and out with the back on here. So, we are going to put the back on as well, I think. This is why we have many a derailment. No. I take no responsibility for any derailments. All my services run perfectly, Will. I don't know what you're suggesting. But I'm quite sure it's slander. Definitely prefer playing it as a group. Oh, God, yeah. Back over Christmas when the world was significantly smaller on the game, I did a lot of solo playing, but I couldn't do it now with the world how big it as big as it is. Not a chance. Now this is going to be the interesting bit. So we've got nice sprung buffers. However, they've come off, as you can probably tell from the paint, they've come off a loco, and I don't believe any of them are in a state that I can actually remove the buffers. Ow. No would be the answer. This one definitely not. There's a big blob of solder on the back of this one. Four buffers. There we go. Yeah, I can't see myself doing much solo. I'm doing this to practice. Yeah, it's good to get the practice in, but yeah, there's no way you want to spend much time doing solo on that world now. And even hard solo when the map gets expanded. Indeed, it is. So yeah, I now have to stick 4 sets of buffers on, which are sprung buffers, and I cannot remove the buffer heads and springing. So keeping them sprung will be ever so fun. But the buffers are much better here on Baxter than they were on a loco that was permadead. Beyond economic repair would be the insurance term. Check references. Always check your references when making a model or conversion. Well, yes. I would suggest fitting them after painting. I mean, that would help, but I don't want to. GWR Dean buffers. Correct, Linny. They are indeed GWR Dean buffers, which I think is perfectly reasonable for a preserved loco. They were the buffers that were on hand during restoration. Better off not. See you all soon. Okay, good night, Will. Thank you for coming. Great to have you here as always. See you next time. Started painting this thing, then noticed the real logo has no water feed dome. So off that comes now, along with associated pipework. Ah, yes. Always check reference photos. See, Lenny, the problem with putting them on after painting is I really don't like gluing things to paint. It's an extra layer of something to go wrong and peel off. Captain Baxter is a Fletcher Jennings locomotive. It is indeed. It's the last standard gauge Fletcher Jennings in the world. Night all, glad to be up for work tomorrow. I'll see you on Discord. Okay, good night, Red. Thank you for stopping by as always. Great to have you here. Sleep well and don't work too hard. Which is why you put a blob of blue tack in the hole to mask it so that when you remove it, there's an unpainted plastic to glue the buffer to. I mean, that would work if I was able to take the buffers apart, because then I could glue it to the inside, and yeah. Bigger brother to Dolgok in many ways. It is indeed. And if you saw the pictures from the Fletcher Jennings gathering that they did up there a few years ago, it looks just like Dolgok. I had not noticed before just how much it looks like Dolgok. Now, I need to poke these up through here to be able to put it onto the chassis properly. Otherwise it doesn't sit down right. But if I do that, I think she's looking pretty fabulous for 2 hours work. I know, still another hour to go. I need to get some handrail knobs on the front still, which means I need to find my handrail wire quickly. And then we got some modifications to do to the cylinders. I see the handrail wire. I have the handrail wire. I had to put a loco on top of it. And there's the handrail knobs. So yeah, I am certainly very happy with how she's looking right now. This needs a lot of straightening to do into it. I'm not sure what's caught it and tangled it up, but it's well and truly tangled it up. That's better, that looks usable now. You'd think having it on a roll would keep it a bit safer, but apparently not. So we'll get way too much of that. Which is, as everyone knows, the appropriate amount. And a couple of short handrail knobs, which I have apparently not opened yet. There we go. And then of course we have to make sure the wire actually fits through these. We'll get that one back in a second. doesn't look like it's going to fit through this one. The hole looks rather deformed. The other one looked alright though. I just need to get it back. Oh, we'll just by the transport lumber, are they stop markers? They are, yes, they should line up with a coupler between the loco and first wagon. Indeed. Lily put a lot of thought into how that weld went together. Now, I'm sure, knowing my reputation, given 5 minutes, I could have that handrail knob back. But I don't want to sit here in silence looking for it for 5 minutes, honestly. Signs are planned, modelled, but not yet in game. I love it, making the job so much easier. It's good, isn't it? Once upon a time, I laid some rails next to the track by the freight depot. Linny's ones look and work so much better. Right, there's one good one. But I'm trying to line up the trains while playing single player or running a train single player. Yeah, it would be like they're trying to do this solo without them. Yeah. Yeah, it would. Wasn't too bad when we had shorter trains. You know, back in the days when we could only afford 4 or 5 wagons. But those days are behind us. There's the little one. Because these holes, whether they're formed properly or not, are filled with something. Quite possibly wax, because that's what's used as a former for these prints. Support. Support is the word I meant, not former. Now to see if these holes are actually big enough. They are, just. Next session we can send you off to the logging camp then. Yeah, you'll be able to run trains next session on your own, Alex. Load up the never-ending cordwood train that we need for the smelter. Really want to add markers for other industries, but when you have free loading unloading platforms on the same line, it gets to be tricky. Yes. Signs will help. Handrail. It'd be nice if it would accept being cut. There we go. Handrail. And now we're going to dab tiny small amounts of glue on it. I'm actually going to cut this bit of wood down so we can get even tinier bits. There we go, nice thin point to apply glue with now. And there we are. Baxter has a body. Could use with a couple of uprights on the back though. Mm. Yeah, that. So now if we hold this upright in place, yep, that looks exactly the right size. So I can cut another one of those. Probably best not to throw that onto where the glue is. Probably best to also not get it caught inside your finger. That's my top tip for the night. Do not stick brass inside your finger. And there we go. Uprights on the back. Perfect. And that is us done with the body for now. Well, hey. That feat sounds almost like a video game glitch. The finger and the brass can't be in the same place. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, supposed to make some steps for it as well, aren't we? That can wait. I've taken the page off to get to the chassis now. So the chassis may need shortening to ensure the gear engages with the worm. So what we're going to do is put that on there, put this on, and see if the gear engages with the worm. You'd think one of the times I'd put this together I'd have noticed, wouldn't you? But that's just not the kind of observant I am. Yeah, it does not engage. So we need to lose a little bit on the rear of the chassis. That is now engaging. I suppose the real test to see if that's enough would be to put the screw in and see if the screw drops down into the hole in the chassis. That's not even the screwdriver I want. That would appear so. And now, yep. Yeah, I can see that in there. Nice and connected like it's supposed to be. And if we take this screw, this is the one that goes up into the front. And there we go, now we know it fits together nicely. See, I think you lot are just mean. Cobra has handled this cordwood job like a champ. Yeah? Cobra can manage that one, to be fair. Try taking Cobra on a run up to one of the mines. Then you'll see we're not mean. But yeah, so that shows me that the shortening is about the right size. So, what I appear to be supposed to do now is to cut the cylinders off and mount them back on slightly lower. And I'm honestly wondering if I want to. I know it should be done because Baxter's cylinders are vertical to the wheels. But that feels like where we start to modify it and mess up and break something. If you know what I mean. But it's not like I can't get another one of these chassis if I do mess up. Something else we should do. Oh, you're even too thick for that now, super glue. I just wanted to plug those holes that I created earlier. And super glue should in fact be capable of spreading over those holes and plugging them. But no. Oh well. My vote would be leave them as is, but then I'm terrified of messing models up. Yeah. I mean, I get the same fear, so it's cool, I understand. I just normally go ahead anyway. But the other thing we need to do that I was thinking of was liquid gravity in the boiler. Which we really should have done before sticking the back on. Definitely get more than that before we add glue. That's not even covering the bottom of the boiler yet. And by bottom I mean front, obviously. That's more like it. I think I've used all this glue up. Go on, just one drop that isn't bubbles. I mean, I was using it on a rather larger build earlier, so that would be why. It's alright, I've got more. Someone remind me to add super glue to my list of things to buy tomorrow. As I said, the correct amount of weight when building a loco is more. Thanks, Alex. See, this is one of those places in the loco as well where it'd be a problem if they got loose, not just because it would rattle, but also because there's a hole. Well, in fact, there's two. Bet we've got more weight going in this than the original weight, though. Definitely should have done this before sticking the back on. Never mind though, we're basically there now. Oh, if you could not be stuck to me, super glue, that would be fantastic. Definitely feeling really heavy now, this Baxter. do believe that is all that can fit. I don't think we'll get it much more full than that, do you? Don't think the scale coal goes in the boiler. I'm in loads of the stuff all over the bench now. It'll be here for weeks. I'll be finding it. No matter how much I clean up, there'll always be a few more. It's like glitter, this liquid gravity. It gets absolutely everywhere. But there we go. You can see just how full the boiler is now. It feels a lot heavier than that. Whether it is or not, it's another matter. Could fill the tanks up as well if I wanted to. One round trip complete. If I ever do any cordwood runs, Crover will be my loco of choice. You're welcome to it. I'm going to go and grab my scales real quickly. And I return with scales. Now, where's the remains of that loco body? We want to get this as accurate as possible. £70. I don't think. Oh no, 68 grams. Don't think you can see that, but 68 grams. 43. So it's actually a lot lighter still. It's just an illusion that it's heavier. Suppose I should fill the tanks up then, shouldn't I? So Alex, I'm glad we've got you hooked on the game now. You'll be streaming with us soon. I still prefer TS, which I control sport, but yes, it's fun. It's okay to prefer train sim. I'll let you. I can probably get a little bit more in there. Currently putting my rake 3 chocolate cream Mark 1 coaches away. One of my sides, then leaving the lanes out on the main line for the station in the station, as there are no trains running tonight. Fair enough. Best get the cleaners out to give the carriages a once over then. Make sure they're ready for the first train in the morning. Really will be finding it for years now. £54. Not quite as heavy as the original, but still not terrible. I don't think I'll get any more weight in it than that though. I don't think I'll get the extra 15 grams out of a white metal crew, unfortunately. But still, close enough. And now she just looks more colourful. Feel the dome and chimney. The dome is solid. And I don't like filling chimneys. Where did I put the big black screw? No, really, where did I put it? Oh, I left it in the bottom of the chassis. That's okay. What colour will you be using? So here's a question for you all. So I'm building this loco because because I like Baxter, but B, as a shunter for South Park Quarry. So, do we paint her up in Baxter's actual livery in red? Or do we go with South Park Quarry blue? Some people may tell you other colours exist. Those people are wrong. Has to be done to Baxter. Red, wonderful. Still at wonderful shot at South Park Quarry. I am very much inclined to agree with you there. And that was definitely my plan, was red. I actually have red paint and everything ready for it. But I wanted to give you the option. For now, she's not getting a lot else because it's 5 to midnight. But there is Captain Baxter. And I'm very happy with Captain Baxter. In fact, I know what it can get tonight. Whilst we've got 5 minutes. What job you've done, Peter Loco Knight. Very impressive. Thank you, Killian. I mean, it was a nice, fun kit to build. Time for bed, said Zebedee. Looks great. Excellent. Very impressive. Thank you all. We'll just put her on the wheel cleaner for now. She runs. Baxter's alive. It's a shame I can't do a Brian Blessed voice, isn't it? There we are. Built and running in a single night. I'm quite impressed. It's not often we get that far in a build on a single night, is it? But there we go. hopefully it'll be less vibraty when it's on track and not on a couple of brass rollers. But that right there is midnight. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. I've had a wonderful time. I hope you have too. I have really enjoyed building Baxter. And I look forward to seeing you all next week when I guess we will have to paint it, won't we? And I think once Baxter's painted, we're going to have to get the layout back out and do some shunting. I'm sure you all agree. So yeah, thank you for coming everyone. I've had a fantastic time. I hope you have too. I've been Gary. This has been Let's Build and you've been awesome as always. Good night.